Welcome to another episode of the Live to Fish podcast, where we dive deep into the world of fishing. From rivers and lakes to the personalities that shape your community, we got you covered. I'm your host, Daniel Turani, and in this episode, we sit down with Dave Huff and Scott Tomlin. We recorded this back at the 2025 Toronto Sportsmen show. It's where I finally got to meet Dave Huff. He's the owner and the builder of the Whuff Rod Company. Dave doesn't just build rods, though. He crafts them. He works closely with anglers from across the country to refine every detail. Alongside him is Scott Tomlin. Scott's a good friend of mine, and he's been a big advocate of Whuff Rods for years. He's been telling me to check them out. I've picked up a couple, but it wasn't until I actually got my hands on every rod at the show that I realized how special these rods really are. In this episode, we talk about what goes into making a truly great fly rod, the passion behind Whuff Rod Company, and what makes his rods stand out above the rest. Whether you're a gearhead, a fly fishing fanatic, or just love a good fishing story, you're in for a great conversation. So grab a coffee, settle in, let's get into it. So we're here at the Toronto Sportsman show, and I'm here with Dave and Scott. So Dave, you want to just quickly give us a little intro to who you are?
Yeah, Dave Huff. I'm the founder of the Whuff Rod Company, based out of the States. Glad to be up here.
Awesome.
It's Scott Tomlin, just good old river bum chasing everything fly fishing.
Very nice. I love how the vacuum's moving closer to us for some reason, but I think we'll get through this. So really quick, we'll start with you. Like, when did you start fishing? When did that become a problem for you?
Man, my earliest memories, farm pond fishing with my grandpa. Been doing it since I was knee high to a grasshopper, as they say in Kentucky.
Nice. And hey, like, Kentucky's home base for you?
Yeah. Kentucky's home base. So I started picking up fly fishing in my teen years.
Okay.
Kind of lost touch with it as I got older, got into cars and, college. But after college, I kind of settled down again and picked it back up.
Very cool. Yeah. Cool. And Scott, how about you?
Oh, I've fished since I was, probably my grandfather. Camping. Fly fishing, no. I never picked that up until about 20 years ago. Went to a river the float rod was touching the other bank on, and it was like, that's not going to work. So it was fly rod, and I haven't looked back since.
And where are you from, Scott?
I was born in Brantford, but I'm from Guelph.
Nice.
Yeah. So, trailer at the Lower Gorge for 20 years, chasing browns. And then my wife's from out east, and I started chasing stripers out there, and rods weren't big enough. And then I moved up to an 11 weight. Then I went to a muskie outing and met this guy here. Now, it's all muskie.
Yeah, so that's how you guys met each other, was through...
Yeah.
What event was that?
Yeah, the Monster Mash tournament in, what was it, 2019?
2019, yeah.
First year they did it, the fly fishing muskie tournament up in Tweed.
And that's fly fishing only?
Yep, fly fishing only on Lake Stokoe.
It's a fun lake to fish on there.
Yeah.
So is it like only fly fishing for you guys, or is it kind of like a little bit of
I still have everything. I might look at a float rod once a year just to make sure the bearings aren't seized, but I haven't fished it in a long time. Very long time.
I have spinning gear and bait caster stuff too. I mean, I'd say 95% fly fishing.
Mm-hmm.
I go on a lot of trips with a lot of dudes that, they succumb to the spinning gear much faster than me, and I just grind it out. I really enjoy the challenge, and when you get one of those special days where the flies are working better, it just keeps you coming back for fly fishing,
Yeah. It's kind of funny how, like, you look at it like, oh, it's a challenge to catch a fish on a fly, and then some days it's like only getting them on the fly.
Yeah.
And it's...
I'd rather go home with zeros and pick up mono.
Yeah.
Some days I'm like that. I get it. Yeah.
It's the challenge. Tell me I can't do it, I'm going to try it.
Well, yeah, I know that about you.
We had a day a few years ago in March. My buddy Pogo came down from Connecticut, and my buddy Neil was with us, and we were fishing an area that was a known area for like spawn, like staging for muskie. And there was maybe 6 or 7 boats fishing gear, and we were in there with flies, and we put 6 fish in the boat that day, and 5 of them were over 45 inches, and the gear guys were blanking, and they were just like, what in the crap are you guys doing? They always call us, throwing them fairy wands. They always make fun of us. They weren't making fun of us that day. So.
Yeah, that's always a good feeling when you come in and they're like, oh.
Yeah.
When and how did you learn the fly fishing, or what got you into the fly fishing? You started on the ponds, but when did fly fishing kind of capture you, to say?
I would say in the beginning, it was just kind of like, I just was curious about it. I had an old fly rod that was handed down kind of, and I didn't know much about it. I'd go out in the yard and mess with it and catch some bluegill or whatever. But, after I got a little older and got serious about it, I hired a guide, in North Carolina to take me out and, reintroduce me to it, so to speak. And, that trip was kind of what got me back into it. Like realizing that was a really fun way to catch fish.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know. I like the natural aspect of it, using the natural, fabric or, materials to make flies, and just, you can, match in the hatch, so to speak, like all the way up to bait fish and big streamers. Like I'm a streamer junkie. Like there's no, like, I can't deny that. Like I love throwing streamers. I love tying them. And, yeah, I think the first time you feel a decent sized fish and you see that visual eat on a fly, you're ruined. There's nothing better.
Yeah. I think there's something special about chucking streamers up in those small streams in the Appalachians there. Like,
Yeah, the reaction bite from a fish that sees a streamer stopping and pausing is just like no other. And the feeling it into the cork that's where it's at for me. So
when I put my trailer in Elora and the float rod touched the other side of the bank, I'd worked in a fishing store for 3 years. I wanted nothing to do with the fly guys. I'm like, no, go away. And I got to Elora and everybody's fly fishing. And I'm like, guess this is the new gig now.
Yeah.
So I was pretty fortunate. I was teaching myself, and one of my neighbors at the trailer was a guide. And yeah, he kind of coddled me under his wing. And 20 years later, I can't get enough of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had the fortune of like landing in what's probably the mecca of fly fishing in Ontario.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially then. Like,
yeah. It was hot. I mean, you go out for a couple hours and get 20 fish.
Yep.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Not huge fish, but who needs huge fish when you want to play a numbers game?
Right. Exactly.
And now, I mean, a decade later, I don't care about numbers anymore. Good time, good people. Fish is a bonus.
Yeah. I mean, just not too far away from where you are now, too. It's like great muskie, great steelhead, great all that.
Southern Ontario.
Fun fish that make you want to hate yourself.
2 hours, any given direction, you can go catch great fish.
Yeah.
And tons of species, too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm an hour and 40 minutes to drag the drift boat up to the Saugeen, and there's 7 sport species up there.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
You can't have a bad day there.
Well, yeah. And I mean, that's kind of the big attraction to me with Whuff Rods. It's like you cover kind of a wide range of rods that cover most of pretty much everything in Ontario. Like, your rods, we could hit everything. And I think every one of your rods that I've picked up and cast have been like a pleasure to cast, which is rare in a line. But how did you get into building rods?
Muskies.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I started doing it in 2014, 2015, fly fishing for muskies, there were no fly fishing like setups for muskie at that point. It was all saltwater stuff. And I went to school for industrial design. So I had this like inquisitive mind of like, always there's a better mousetrap, right? So I didn't exactly know what I wanted, but I knew it wasn't what I was using, you know? So I had just learned how to build rods for my local fly fishing club. An old guy, still to this day, teaching people how to build rods, Mike Arnold. Just an absolute legend in our area for fly fishing knowledge. And he taught me how to wrap rods. And, you know, I kind of took it from there, and I was just like, I'm going to try to build me something that I actually like, you know? So I started doing the research on tapers, like why the rods we were using weren't great. And that, you know, most of them were saltwater blanks. They're made for shooting little tarpon flies really far into the wind. But, you know, you put a wet sock on the end of it, it's just not fun, you know? They're either too stiff or they had the wrong power curve, you know, so you couldn't really get the full use of that rod and get all that, you know, performance out of the blank. You're just doing a lot of work with your arms. So that's kind of what started it for me. And then from there, well, yeah, here we are, I guess. So
in your lineup there, what would be like your favorite rod to use? And is that because of what you're chasing, or is it just like you enjoy casting that rod? Like, you got to pick up a rod and go to fish, what would it be? Species.
That's a
aside.
tough one. Like, my favorite right now is probably our 6-weight, the fish whistle. It's just such a versatile rod. When you think of a 6-weight, a lot of people, they're thinking smaller fish, trout, you know, maybe some bass, but ours has a fighting butt on it. I've taken it to the no motor zone in the Everglades and caught tarpon and snook. I went up there and caught, you know, just wore out snook, tarpon, redfish, triple tail. I mean, it's a fun rod. It's very versatile. You can throw some decent sized streamers on it, and you know, it's more of a mid to fast action. So it's got a fun taper that, you know, if you have a better cast stroke, you can really, really, really enjoy it. And, you know, but a beginner can still pick it up and like it too, you know? And I think one of the things that, I enjoy about that rod, you know, our factory, my stuff's made overseas, but I have a great relationship with them, and, our tolerances and stuff are like really important to us, and our factory knows that. They do a double inspection on their splining, so all of our rods are very, very accurate. They're not going to drift off to the left or right because the spline's not, you know, aligned.
Can you quickly explain what a spline is?
Yeah, so that's just finding the backbone of the rod and making sure that you're aligning the guides to that spline. It's something that with a lot of mass produced stuff, like, they can fall short. You know, you can tell the accuracy just isn't quite where it should be, and it'll frustrate you because you know you're casting right where you want, and then your fly like drifts to the left or the right, and you're like, why in the hell is it doing that? You know, and it's usually it's not. It's at that point it's the arrow, you know, doing it. So
right.
But yeah, like stuff like that, like. And the 6-weight's one of our last models that we released. So, like, in my opinion, like, I've worked through all the kinks, and like my lineup now, like, it's pretty dialed for the price. You get a really, really good, accurate rod for the money.
Nice. How about you, Scott? What rod? If you're gonna pick up a rod and go fishing,
I can't pick one. I got to pick the variety store. Give me the 7. Give me the 7. Give me the 11. We're good. Anywhere I go, I can fish with those 2 rods.
Yeah.
Anywhere. And cover everything I've ever chased lately. You can't go wrong with them.
So how did the relationship develop here? Like, I get that you guys met at the Monster Mash, but
man,
because he's been preaching Whuff Rods for a little while to me, and I kind of joked after you had me. I think it was the fish whistle I cast, but I cast a couple of rods the other day, and I'm walking away from the casting lanes as he's walking in. I look at him, I go, "Why didn't you tell me they were such nice rods?" And I thought he was going to break a rod over my head when I said that, but so the comment worked. But
so we don't have a pro staff,
right?
Like, we just don't, like. It's not in the budget. We like to keep our rods affordable.
Yeah. Well, I think pro staff is kind of bullshit anyways, but
yeah, I mean, a lot of those guys, you know, as soon as someone says they're pro staff, typically, I like, it devalues their opinion, you know, because it's paid advertisement, right? Yep. Scott, he just started buying rods. He took a gamble on us, you know. Back then we were new. Mm-hmm. He met me before I even launched our rods. Like I was still prototyping rods at that tournament. Like I was fishing prototype rods. Yeah. I didn't have my factory stuff there. Yeah, like he tried one, probably based off price point and just our personal
I had
interaction.
I had some big name rods that I was not impressed with. They were labeled Predator and they did not hold up. And you know, I think we were standing around the fire that night because Sunday was kind of like blown out. And it was like,
oh yeah, the
really?
bourbon night.
Yeah. 2 tips.
The bourbon night.
Two tips out of the box.
Yeah.
And a better price point than what I already had. I mean, I had big name rods. I had to re-guide them. And here's a guy that small town, small shop, fishes his own gear. It's got to say something.
Right.
And it's like, I'm going to try it. I mean, I got nothing to lose. I had 11s. I bought 12s. What have I got to lose? It's not going to be any worse than what I was losing already from the rods from the big name. And then, yeah, I had 12s, and then somebody had a 7. Joey had a 7 on my boat, and I picked that up, and it was like, I ordered one the next day. And it's just one after the next. Then there's Scott Squared.
Oh, yeah.
The other Scott.
Scott Barham.
He's a huge fan, too, and we fish a lot together, and he put a post up one day and says, I only need 2 more for the complete collection. My credit card took a beating that day. You're not winning that one. No, you can't. And I was 1 short. And about 4 days after that, Dave dropped 2 more rods on the list. And I'm like, oh no. Now I have one of the entire collection. I have multiples of many.
Yeah.
So what is the run? Like, what's the rundown of the collection? How many rods are in it?
10 rods. We have 10-foot 3-weight high stick, the 9-foot 5-weight roll caster, 9-foot 6-weight fish whistle. We've got 9-foot 7 streamer stick, 9-foot 8 bomber. We have an 8-foot 8 power glass, which is our only glass rod. And then we've got the strip set, which is a 9-foot 9. And then we have two color options of the 9-foot 11 River Wolf. We got the old school golden orange, which was the original, that was the original OG. And then we came out with the OD green matte, just to kind of give some folks that weren't real flashy an option.
Yeah. And
then we've got the double haul, which is our 9-foot 12 weight, the blue and orange. So
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that color was. Scott was like, Grand River Outfitters was really surprised when I ordered that color.
Yeah.
Because normally I'm like, I want really subdued colors or almost grays.
Yeah.
And then he's like, it comes in 2. You probably want the green, right? I'm like, no. Give me that.
Yeah.
Give me that old bamboo-y kind of Eagle Claw looking thing. Like,
yeah,
it's an awesome, like just a retro looking, like flashy without being gaudy.
No, I was trying to, I knew I was going to be a little fish in a big pond.
Yep.
And, back to my industrial design days, my teachers always told us to think outside the box,
Mm-hmm.
And then they would always bring us back in the box a little bit if we got too far out. But I was like, man, we're not going to be able to sit on a shelf in a shop and look just like every other black rod out there, black rods, black wraps. Like I want people to be attracted to our like display and our colors. At least give them a chance, give them a reason to come in and look at the stuff, pick it up.
Right.
If that happens, especially at these trade shows, people just love the colors. They walk in, I can start talking to them about my story, how, where the stuff's made, how it's made, like what our ideal is, business model, the whole deal, and then get them casting one. And if I can get them casting one and they can they can feel the action and realize that, man, this isn't a crap rod. Like, this price is good and it casts great. I'd say 75% of the time they come back and they won't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that these trade shows are great for that. Like, that's how we grow as a small brand, and just make our yeses our yes and our no's no, man. Like, we stand behind our stuff. Our warranty's really, really good too.
Mm-hmm.
Like people are blown away that we have a lifetime warranty. Our replacement policy too, like 95 Canadian plus shipping, and you're getting a brand new rod. Like,
really?
Yeah. So like 2 years from now, if someone smashes in a car door, like, we don't ever do parts and places like replacement, like pieces and stuff. Like, there's companies out there making you wait 2 to 3 months to get a tip section to get back out fishing, and that rod's never going to fish the same. Like, you get a 2-year-old rod with one new piece on it, it's going to feel like garbage. Like, there's just no way. It's never going to feel like your rod ever again, you know, the one you remembered, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we keep the blanks together always. I jokingly tell people that that fly rod blanks are like ducks. They're mated for life, you know?
Okay.
Like, they start out as one and they get cut down, right?
Tell me that. No, I'm not going to want a duck hunt.
Well, you know.
I mean, they're tasty anaugh.
Here's my thing on that. I'm a duck hunter. You just got to make sure you whack them both. Don't leave one stranded.
I'm struggling to get the first one still. So,
well,
so are you looking to add anything to your lineup?
Yeah. We're working on. I'm working on some shorter stuff, some 7-foot, like 2-weight, 3-weight stuff called the pocket knife, and I've got some salt inspired stuff coming. Salt inspired 8, 10, 12 stuff called the Destination Series. A little higher price point, but the build specs and the blanks are going to be pretty sweet. So
well, I think
taking the final prototypes to Isle Morada at the end of May, and hopefully I can put like a 130 pounder on one.
Yeah,
is the final test, and then roll with it.
Well, I think salt guys are kind of used to paying a little bit more for their gear because I mean, the salt stuff takes just such a beating. Like, everything you use out there just eventually dies at some point unless it's like really well made. So
yeah, the elements are crazy. The fish are strong and pretty vicious, and I mean, it's inevitable, you know. And you know, our 12. I mean, young guy named Peter was just here yesterday. He just caught a sailfish on our 12 weight, and during the fight, he had that thing hooked up and it was breaching the water a couple times, jumped, and took him to the backing, and his backing got tangled up, and the guides were like helping him untangle the backing, and the fish was just thrashing. Didn't break the rod. They got the fish to the boat. The video is just epic, you know, and he's just like, I don't know how this rod didn't break, you know, but like, I'm like, me neither. I'm glad it didn't, because the footage is amazing. Yeah. So, but yeah, you know, sometimes those you get lighter and faster, you get brittle too, you know? Right. So, sometimes you lose the battle, you know? So we've been working on the taper and stuff with the R&D guys, overseas. I mean, our prototyping guys there are awesome. Like, a lot of people probably just think that we're just ordering like random shit, but like all the mandrels and stuff like that we use, like I help figure out what we want. I don't own the mandrels. The factory owns them, but like I have a say in how they fish, and like we get them the way I want them before, you know, we do any production runs. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we got some cool stuff coming, and we're a small company, so I can't add too much too fast. But as our dealer network grows, I'd love to continue to, you know, a lot of guys up here wanting space stuff, and there's always another rod people want, you know, so I just got to be careful about adding too many SKUs too fast and get our name out there.
Are you leaning into that spay thing?
Yeah, I've been working on a few. Yeah. I've been working on some like 10-foot 7 weight, 10-foot 8 weight stuff. Maybe getting that 11-foot 8 weight range. But yeah, the full on spay stuff. I have a couple guys that are really back home that are really into it and good at it. And you know, if I'm not really super focused on that style of fishing, I'll bring somebody else in to help me that knows what they're doing, just so I don't miss anything, you know. So I'm gonna start picking their brains about some stuff, getting some samples in their hands, and yeah, we'll just keep growing, you know.
Nice.
Hopefully, you know, within the next couple of years, we'll have a big old catalog of stuff. Sorry, Scott.
It's all good, buddy. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
I can see you have something to say. I'm just
No. Well, I mean, back to the colors and stuff. I was at the fly time meeting the other day, and they're shoving a phone in my face, and it's Peter. And the first thing that sticks out is this blue rod with all these orange wraps. And then I'm like, wait, that's a sailfish. So they're tough.
Yeah.
But moving forward, I'm really excited about the small stuff. And I got a really good friend who's he's a nomad guide. He is all over the place, owns 0 possessions, lives out of a Sims duffel bag. And as soon as that spay rod drops, I'm buying one for him and I'm shipping it wherever he is. He's in Argentina right now and headed to Norway in a couple of weeks. And yeah, I'm waiting for the new stuff.
Nice. You got me excited when you started talking about those shorter switch rods, because
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of those big 2-hand rods. I definitely see a place for 2-hand, but those switch rods, I got to fish some couple different brands.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can see how this could be useful, like for me around here. And but,
I think the 10'7", 10'8" are like the sweet spots.
Yeah.
It's you know, those big 2-hand switch rods, spay rods are like out west, you know.
Yeah.
Like where you have just, you know, 200-300 meter long, like wide rivers, like it's fine, you know.
Yeah.
But they have their place and they're awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's hard for us to develop in Kentucky, right? So
True.
yeah,
Fair enough.
some of our creeks are like this as wide as the casting lane. So
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I love fishing.
yeah.
In chatting over the course of the weekend here, you mentioned that you know, kind of get to fish all over the place.
Yep.
What would be like your favorite place to fish? Or if you had to like scratch the itch, where would you go?
Man, I love saltwater fishing.
Mhm.
Just the variety of possibility. If I had to pick one, I'd have to say I'd be calling my my homie Worldwide Will McCabe, probably one of the best guides I've ever fished with.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be calling him, and we'd be heading to Venice, Louisiana for some big old redfish.
Really?
So yeah, those things are just big gluttonous, like shrimp eating monsters that when you hit them right, dude, I mean, they'll run right into your boat. They don't care. You're there. They're just happy and just eating, you know? So yeah, I fished with him. He's trying to get me to do the trifecta. He does, he fishes, he lives in Isle Morada, and he does the tarpon thing and the, you know, bonefish and all the stuff down there. And then he goes to the Titchik Narrows and guides in Alaska for their season. And then he ends his year in Venice. And then goes back to Isle Morada right around Christmas. So like that's his trifecta. The Titchik Narrows one's pricey. So
Yeah.
I'll get on there. I'll get on that game. I'll get the trifecta knocked out one year, but yeah, Venice, Louisiana, man, it's a special place. Sport fishing's amazing there too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's cool.
How about you, Scott?
As much as I love fishing at home, I spend a lot of time fishing smallies, even though I was a trout guy to start with. I can't get enough of that 7-weight streamer stick and smallies. But my wife's from northern New Brunswick, and that's a real special spot. I look forward to that all the time. If somebody said we're going, I'm in the truck. I mean, stripers, muskie, Atlantic salmon, brookies galore. And I mean, when I go there, I got to take everything from 3-weight to 12. So it's a special place, but it's also vacation. So there's no rules, no responsibilities. It makes it super special that way, because it's not like when I fish here, I might go fish here and have to work the next day. So yeah, when you can go vacation and fishing, forget about your adult responsibilities, that's a place to go.
Right. Awesome. So how's Canada been treating you in general? Like how's the Canadian market been treating you, Whuff Rods, let's say?
I mean, I think we've been pretty well received, you know. The Canadian folks they really like our price point. And they've been pretty open to giving us a shot, you know. Even at the show, timing couldn't have been worse for a US brand coming up here. But dude, everyone's been cool. You know, we're all in it together, and we're talking about fishing. So they want to know about the rods. They don't really, you know, I've only had like one or two people that even like blinked at the fact that I said we're from the US, you know?
Yeah.
And they were still like, they're just joked about it, you know?
Yeah.
Like how, you know, obviously border crossing tariffs, you know, typical banter.
Yeah.
But, no, it was good, man. We got all our paperwork in order, came across the border, had a great show so far.
Is this your first show up here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's our first Canadian show.
Okay.
So, everything else, like our growth is like 100% word of mouth. We really don't do other than trade shows.
Well, you got a big one over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Word of mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
His
tell
growth
you- I'll
was
tell
all
you
word of
when
mouth. So.
I can throw rods in the boat, and there'll be 6 inches sticking out the back. And they're like, "Who makes a rod that color?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, boat ramps is huge. Like, and it's not like I'm trying to push it. They just end up in the boat. People walk by and, "Hey, how's it going? Who makes that color?"
Yeah.
So
Well,
word of mouth is huge.
Yeah.
And even the marketing, like a lot of the little details, like you said, the extra tip. All your rods come with tubes.
Yeah. All of our rods come with tubes.
And then I remember when I opened the tube the first time, I opened it up and stuff popped out. I'm like, holy shit, there's a bunch of stickers in here. Like, it's just, you know, it seems like there's a lot of little personal and extra touches to all of it. So it's
and I mean, you know, as we grow, I'm going to try to not lose any of that, you know.
Yeah.
That's a hard one right there. Like every one of our rods that we sell has a handwritten note on it, you know, on the receipt.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hopefully there's a lot of notes to write in the future, you know.
Scotty B said it best. That second tip, that's your first warranty call. You don't even have to make it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's already it's taken care of already.
Right.
And it didn't cost you anything extra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the second time I put it together, so the first time I put it together, I got it like at a weird time of the year.
Yeah.
Like I missed my muskie trip. So I didn't end up using the rod for almost 4 months.
Okay.
But I threw it in the truck. We drove down to Florida, going down to the beach. It's like the sun is just starting to creep up. And I go to tip the rod tube to take everything out, and 4 pieces come out, and I start putting the first 2 together, and I'm like, how does this? I don't understand. There's 2 ends, like 2 tip guides on. What did I do here? Because the middle section didn't come out, so only 4 pieces came out, and I'm like, do I have 2 tips and no middle? Like, what's? It was just too early in the morning, and yeah,
Surprise.
yeah, surprise. And then I'm looking in the thing, and I'm shaking it, and I'm like, all right, this has 2 tips on it.
I had a guy freak out. He was calling me in a panic. He had flown to Wisconsin or Minnesota for a muskie trip and broke the tip of his rod, putting it together in the hotel. It like smashed it in the door or something, and was calling me freaking out. Like, and I was like, dude, do you have your rod tube with you? And he's like, yeah, of course. I was like, dude, there's another one in there. Like, there should be one, you know? And he looked and he's like, oh shit. Yeah, there is one. Never mind. You know, he was like freaking out. Like, I was like, I've got extra tips. Like I'll overnight you a tip just so you have another one. But like, you're good. Your morning, you're good for the morning, you know?
Yeah.
I said, give me your address to the hotel. I'll overnight you some tips so you have new ones. But like, you're good, you know? But he didn't even realize it. So it's crazy how many people they don't realize that there's two in there.
It's just not something that we're used to.
Bad marketing. I need to up my game on that, I guess.
More than just the tip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be that might be a t-shirt.
Yeah, if you ever need a little double entendre, I'm good for that.
I have to get the S&S guys on that one.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna need these made in Canada, please.
Yeah, no problem. It took a minute for us to finally connect on the phone, and the first thing you said was, "Yeah, sorry, I was out building bike tracks in the forest," and I'm like, "What's that now?" And I originally thought it was like just a hobby, but like turns out that you probably have like the coolest real job in the fishing industry, because most of us have like real jobs.
Yeah.
And it's always like something kind of boring.
Yeah.
But it's like, how did that happen? How did that come to be that you,
dude?
like,
it's just another passion that turned into a job, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah. Just kind of similar to the rod thing. I wanted a better mousetrap kind of situation.
Okay.
I started doing some volunteer builds with some guys I ran into in like 2007, and they were doing some stuff by hand, and it was cool. But I was like, man, I've worked on farms and ran equipment on landscaping crews. Like we could make this so much more epic if we could get like a mini excavator in here, you know? So like the next weekend, they found a company that like just donated their mini excavator for the weekend, like dropped it off at the park we were working in. And we just started cranking out sweet jumps and berms, and like had like half the trail built like within like the weekend. And like kind of realized at that point, I'm like, all right, this is a God-given talent. Like I'm pretty good at this, you know? So yeah, just kind of word of mouth spread, and I got 2 or 3 crews that we just travel around the East Coast of the United States, building mountain bike like different trails and hiking trails, horse trails. Like we're known for our really, really crazy like jump flow trail stuff, like really intricate shapes and high level stuff. But we do a little bit of everything. It's cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, I got, maybe 10 more years in me. And by then, hopefully the rod company is rolling and can just transition right into retirement, which is just more rod stuff and fishing more and building less.
The show's opening up in a minute here, so I'm gonna let you get your stuff.
2 minutes. 2 minutes till go time.
I'm gonna let you get your stuff all set up there. Thanks for sitting down, and kind of a quick impromptu thing we decided to do sort of last minute.
No, it's all good. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for setting all this up. It's been a great show, and yeah, man. If we can help grow this area a little bit more, let's do it.
We definitely,
it's going to happen.
And the Sportsman shows, like, he was gung ho to put fly in, and I called because I wanted to promote the guide service thing, and now I'm not really doing that, but we're growing the fly community. So if there's more fly fishermen, it'll trickle down. But but they're gung ho to do this again and build it again. And well, anyways, thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
appreciate it. We'll we got a show to do now, but
let's push some more fly fishing out today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to the Live to Fish podcast. Want some more Live to Fish? Head over to live-to-fish.com to get more podcasts, stories, and links to all our social feeds.